Hola, my mates. Today on Panik Games, we're going to take a look at some expansions for Star Trek Ascendancy. The Vulcans and the Andorians. So let's beam down to the table and take a look. Alright, so let's take a look at the expansions here for Star Trek Ascendancy. Basically, if you're not familiar with the game, it is a 4X game set in the Star Trek universe. In the base game, you get the Federation, the Klingons, and the Romulans. And there's additional expansions. These just happen to be the two newest ones, the Andorians and the Vulcans. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Andorians first. I'm just gonna open this up and take a look. So each race kind of has different abilities that make them unique. So there's the player board that you're going to be utilizing. There's different tracks, so you're expanding. Looks like the Andorian. So weapons and shields is pretty standard. Andorians have their ability, Andorian Pride. If your weapons or shields are better than all the other players, take a culture at the start of your turn. If they are both better, take 2 cultures. So basically, you get better. Different races have different ways to get culture, and that just happens to be theirs. You're traveling on these tracks, these star tracks here, so there's different lengths, so this kind of adds more to the game, so you have more of them to be able to expand, because the board expands as you search for different planets and things like that. So there's some different tokens. Basically, you're striving to get this here, Ascendancy, so I believe you get 5 of those, and then you win the game. So that's what you're trying to get in the game. So we got here some more tracks, some more tokens. Always more tokens is good, just to in case that way you don't run out of them. So that you can see a smaller space lane that you might be traveling down. So you guys can see that's what. So that basically builds your path between planets. There's I believe 2, 3s, and 4s that are there. So here we're getting to additional planets, so some of these might be themed specifically for the Andorians. So I'll pop one out here so you can take a closer look and see what a planet looks like in this game. So basically you can see there's red, blue, and yellow. Those are the types of things resources that are found on that planet. So that's Andor that you'd be going there. There's also additional tokens and things like that for the game. Here we got additional planets. I'll show you another one. So that's Antipathy. So you can see only red production on that planet. But you also might encounter, other than planets, you might also encounter like things in space. So like a subspace anomaly. So like with that, when the ships in the system enter warp, roll the space lane die, and place that many warp tokens next to the ships. So basically that just gives you an extra boost by going through there. Also, here's another example of that. So in-game Nebula, after braving a hazard, move all surviving ships to an adjacent sector. So basically, if there's a hazard there, then you can move them to different areas on the board. That's generated as you go. So yeah, so that's basically what's in the Andorian one. Of course, too, they're a blue color that they get for them. So you get all their little ships. I can pull one of those out and kind of show you close up what those look like. So that's, actually I can't because of the color. So it blends in with my my green screen. But here, I'll show you up here on the overhead. So that's what they look like that. You have ships, and then you have fleets that you can put out. So these are the fleet ships here, and the trackers. So basically, you have a base that you put these ships on, and they represent like multiples of your ships. More resources, that's always good to have for the game. Then we have, this is basically how you put out your fleet, so there's different amount of ships you can put on for each fleet. Then we have the encounter cards. Let me open these up. So actually, so we got both trade agreements, and you can trade, do trade agreements between people as soon as you meet each other, first contact. Then these can be broken, and it basically gives you more resources. So that gives you more production by having that trade agreement with somebody else. And then examples of some of the cards. So we have exploration cards here. So we got one here. So let's see one that's good. So these get drawn used when you explore a planet. So like, I don't know if you can see that real good, but it says triphasic emitter. Spend 1 research to immediately upgrade your weapons by 1. So that's a good one. So you're just spending 1 research to be able to bump up your weapons ability. So that's basically what's in that box. So let's go ahead and take a look what is in. Oh, actually, we got a few more cards here. So these ones. So these are advancements and things that you can make. You can do while you're doing the game. So they're ones you can collect and increase. It just increases your abilities essentially. So we got like. Could bump up your military. So an Andorian fleets in orbit of an Andorian controlled planet with culture nodes count as having 1+1 shields. So that basically that bumps up your shields for that particular one. And there's a few others. I mean, there's a whole deck here of different things you can upgrade just to make it so you can get more ascendancy. Or you can also win by taking over other people's home planets, which is pretty difficult, but I'm thinking some races are better at it than others. So let's set that aside. And let's take a look at the Vulcans here. I'm curious to see what their special ability is and how they gain culture. So let's take a look. This is gonna have similar things as far as obviously the space lanes. This is their player board. More space lanes, more ascendancy tokens, more research tokens, more culture tokens. So we can kind of jump through that. Obviously the Vulcan homeworld, Vulcan High Command. If you want to take a look at that there, that's their main planet. So you'll start on that planet and build off of there. Then you will obviously search for new planets and things like that. So that's specific for the Vulcans there. Then we have a few other planets that can be explored. So we got Benzar, looks like produces a blue resource. I can't remember off the top of my head what the resources are. So that strictly just produces 2 blue. Then also this expansion comes with some anomalies. So when you brave the hazard, also roll a space lane die on a roll of 3, refresh 1 command. On a roll of 4, refresh 2. So that means if you escape an anomaly, you get more actions you can take during a turn. So that's pretty nice. Then I'll show you a couple more planets that come with the Vulcans. So we have, looks like a lot of theirs is, at least a few of these are all the same resource. So Didalax B for that one. What the other one's a cool one here? Yuri. I'll show you that one. So that produces yellow and blue. Alright, so those are the tokens that are for the Vulcans. Their player board, so their special abilities, the Vulcans player may not lie to other players. On your turn, you may use commands to move ships of rivals whose trade agreements you hold with their permission. Oh, so they don't even have an ability to increase culture. So this is more, you can control other people's ships if you have a trade agreement with them. So you're kind of telling people what to do, which is kind of thematic for the Vulcans. Vulcans may not invade or attempt hegemony of systems controlled by a rival with lower ascendancy. So basically, they have to be at higher levels than you for you to be able to try to invade them. So that's interesting. That's similar to the Federation, where they can't at all attack other civilizations because of the Prime Directive. All right, so that's kind of what they have there. So that's really neat. We can take a look at. We've got some Vulcan ships here. Looks like they're orange. Let's see if that comes up here. We can kind of take a look at what that looks like. So, cool Vulcan ship there. Let's take a look at their cards. Obviously, this is the fleet cards. So, when an orbit, independent civilization, or rival system whose trade agreement you hold, this fleet may place or remove a Vulcan ambassador. So, I'm not sure how that works with the Vulcan ambassadors. This does not use a command and may not be done while moving. So, like I said, every race has different abilities that can be utilized. So that's their fleet cards. Just so you want to see a close up of the fleet cards there, that's what they look like. So basically, you place the smaller ships on there, and that represents a bigger ship that of those 5 there. So that's those cards. And we also have, they have trade agreements as well, of course. And the cool stuff is the exploration card. So let's look at this first one here. Warp capable. So you would explore a planet and you would come across this. So this is a warp capable level 3. Develop up to 3 research nodes in priority order. Place 3 warp tokens on the system. Make it as warp capable independent civilization. Okay, so that's what you could do on that in that civilization. And then we also have another warp capable. That's the level 1. Let's see what else you come across. I won't show you all, so there'll be a surprise. But here's one that's called Black Star. Any ships? Okay, you encounter a black star of high gravitational attraction, which begins to drag nearby objects towards it. If any ship survives this hazard, refresh 2 commands. So basically, you could explore a planet and then get 2 more commands to be able to, basically more actions that you can take. And then, we got a couple different things here on these smaller cards for the Vulcans. So let me just open that one. And this one too, Agenda. So this is a little different. I don't remember seeing the Agenda cards. So this allows you different ways, win conditions, basically. So to win the game, control 10 systems on your turn. To win the game, occupy 6 phenomenon. To win the game, reach 8 ascendancy. To win the game, control 9 research nodes. Oh, so this is different ways the Vulcans looks like that they're able to win the game. So that's really neat. So I hadn't seen that before in this game. Then we have advancements for the Vulcans, so they can do so they're starting advancements. Vulcan High Council. You may build ships and form fleets in any of your systems which have an ambassador. On your turn, you may use a command to move an ambassador to another connected system you control. So obviously there's ambassadors in here, so that's something different than... Oh yeah, I can see them right in this bag here. That's something unique to the Vulcans. That's really neat. So, if you can even see, but there's these tiny little people that I guess you move from planet to planet to basically have control or ambassadors of that planet. So that's a really interesting twist. Then there's military. Every system with an ambassador rolls an extra die in planetary invasion. So looks like you could have ambassadors at different places and then attack, and you get extra die, different abilities for that. So yeah, so espionage. When attacked, your ships may Enter warp before the battle begins. If there's a Vulcan ambassador in their system or in a system connected to their space lane. So basically, if you're being attacked, so usually you being attacked, you get attacked. That just happens, but you can choose to retreat. So this basically says you can warp out of there if there's an ambassador there to avoid the fight. So yeah, that's really neat. So that's basically what's in these two expansions. Thanks for dropping by and taking a look. Obviously, like I said, it's a very good game. Only played it once, but very fun. Definitely has that feeling of Star Trek that everybody wants, in a Star Trek game. So I'll check you out next time. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, liking, and please drop a comment. If you like what we're doing, let us know. I'll talk to you later. Bye.